Hello, hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. So today I want to ask you, how full is your bucket? Is it about to overflow? Is one more drop all it will take for it to tip over? What am I talking about? Well, I am talking about your stress bucket. We all have one, metaphorically, of course, even if we are completely unaware of it. So if you've never actually heard of stress bucket, I mean, you might have heard of people saying, oh, she's such a stress bucket or whatever. But if you've never thought about it, never thought about yours, then there are lots of good illustrations on the internet. So just Google it. But I'm just going to use this one, this little image of a bucket overflowing, so you can start to think about yours. So why am I talking about this? Well, over the summer, I had to take a bit of a moment because without me really realizing it, my stress bucket was about to tip over. I had been working at such an intense pace for, probably a few years, to be honest. And I kept saying, I need a holiday, but the holiday never seemed to come. I was always saying yes to things and packing the diary. Anyway, so added to the pace of work came the pace of home life, family, friends, schools, running a home, pets, organizing stuff, the whole shebang that goes into life. And by the time my actual summer holiday came along, I just did not want to go anywhere. I did not want to see anyone. I didn't want to do anything. All I wanted was really to lie down and do nothing for a couple of weeks, preferably, in that kind of darkened room. And it all just got a bit too much. I felt quite burnt out, and I just started to worry about all kinds of things. And things that wouldn't normally worry me became huge in my mind. They just like mushroomed. And suddenly I had like all these worries going on, really, really starting to feel very, very anxious. So I had to really stop and practice grounding techniques and breathing techniques and work, for me, really, really hard at relaxing. I was thinking, okay, I've got to relax. Like, what can I do to relax? So without me really realizing it, my bucket had filled up to the brim and was well and truly overflowing. So it sort of had snuck up on me. And by the time I realized, it was like, well, it wasn't too late because I'm here, but I'd let it get too far, I think. So how are you doing? Is your bucket filling up, or is it almost overflowing? A lot of the people that I spoke to in the late summer have really been sort of saying, they're feeling a bit burnt out, feeling emotionally exhausted. That's the equivalent of what I'm talking about, overflowing. Or do you have a good space at the top of the bucket to take on more, that buffer? Ideally, we all have stresses in life. So if we're thinking about the stress bucket, we would have it sort of half full with lots of space for it to not slosh over. I'm just going to take down this illustration now. So just think about how you are doing. It's been hard for me, and maybe for you, to accept that we're not superhuman and can't do everything, keep on top of everything all of the time, and I also think that if you are driven by achievement and accomplishment and getting things done, if that gives you like a sense of satisfaction, like it does me, then you will be one of those people that pushes yourself to deliver despite all of the warning signs. I definitely had warning signs, and I just plowed on anyway. So what to do if this is you? The first thing I really recommend is just to, even if you don't think it's you, is just to kind of pause and imagine your stress bucket. How are you doing? How full is it? Are you fine? Are you not fine? Where is it? Just really think about that. The second thing is think if it is getting to that full or overflowing, just think, what is it costing me? What is it costing me physically? What is it costing me mentally? What is it costing me spiritually? Yeah, just really take note of that. And then the next one is really, what's at stake if I continue like this? Is it worth it? You know, when I think back and think, God, if I continue like that, then I would have been completely burnt out and very, very anxious. So it's just not worth it in the long run, not worth it in the short run. So next thing is really to think about, what can I do to empty the bucket, to make it a more manageable load, more manageable level. You know, so for me, that has been about starting to say no to things, you know, boundaries, being firmer of boundaries, you know, really sort of creating space in my life to relax and do nothing. You know, I think there's that Italian saying, dolce fa niente. I hope that's not rude, by the way, but do nothing, do the sweet nothing. Anyway, and then, so think about what can you do to empty your bucket, to make it a more manageable level. And then also ask yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need right now? Because if you are overflowing or at the brim, you are at a stage where you just need to stop and look after yourself. And then from now on, also think about, what can I do to maintain a more reasonable level? So really, really make a conscious, intentional point of thinking about, how can I go at a more sustainable level? So for me, yeah, it's been about creating space in the diary to rest, relax, and do nothing. It's very hard, or it was very hard. I'm getting used to it now. And also just being much more intentional about the pace that I go at. You know, last week I talked about keeping 2 chevrons apart, that sign on the motorway, keeping that space and that pace. So no more packing the diary end to end and feeling like I'm on an edition of Every Second Counts. So over to you now. What are your reflections about you, your bucket, and what do you want to do about it? I'd love to know your thoughts if you're happy to share. So my last word is to take care of you fearlessly. Protect yourself. All right. Take care. See you next week.